All right, we're live on Hangout. Just waiting for YouTube to catch up. As always, lagging behind. There we go. We're live. All right. Welcome live from the crossroads of America to Rick's Life as I See It, a 1-hour talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. I also answer questions from you, the listener. Just put them in the chat boxes or send me an email at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. And normally within 24 hours of this show ending, the audio file is on Podbean, Stitcher, and iTunes. I got a Patreon page, as you can see. It's right below my it's my lower thirds thing there. And Spreadshirt. I got just type in Rick's Life and my stuff should come up.
Can't you just put a scroll up here with all this information in text on the screen? Shit, this takes too long.
Hey, I like hearing my own voice. You know.
Well, we knew that.
And so anyway,
just add another line, Rick.
We have got a fantastic panel today, and we're going to introduce them, and I'm going to go from the way it's set up on my screen here. How you doing, David?
Doing mighty good. Thanks for having me, Rick. Always a pleasure.
No problem. Then we got Night Strike.
I'm still looking, but I can't find this amazing panel that you're talking about.
I know, he's not here yet. And then we got Squib. How you doing, Squib?
Oh, hey, yeah, pardon all the noise in the background. I'm actually working on a Saturday. Thanks for the invite.
And we got good old Tony.
I was going to say, I am here. Thanks for the invite. I'll be here for about 13 minutes, and then I'll be gone.
All right. You coming back?
I don't know. It depends on how the roads are, how long it takes me. I'll try to.
All right. Then we got Wheelchair Warrior.
Hey, how's it going? I appreciate the invite. And, of course, this panel's wonderful because I'm here.
That's right. Midnight
the
Range.
Coolest avatar I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's true.
Midnight Range.
We need to get you one of those chairs.
The panel is. So, you know. Anyway, so far in the chats, we've got David Boland doing triple duty. He's on YouTube, gun channels, and on the panel. Then we got John Brown Productions. Then we got Midnight Range so far. Rich White. And actually, Rich White's on gun channels as well. There we go. People always arrive late for mine. I don't know why. They just do. But we're start on. As my title says, how do we stay positive with all this anti-gun stuff going on? So I'm going to throw it to the panel to answer this one because I need ideas. That's why I wrote the topic. You know, because I normally listen to most nights when I go to bed. I would normally listen to the podcast of Armed American Radio. You know, and since the midterms, I know we got a fight on our hands, or we got things to look out for, but he's gone so negative. I go to sleep almost in tears listening to him. You know, so I was trying.
There's a reason I don't listen to him.
How do we stay positive? So let's start with you, Night Strike.
How do we stay positive? Well, again, you gotta. We need to make sure that that if you are an advocate or a supporter of the Second Amendment, you need to keep letting your congressmen and senators know that you exist. Even to the point of annoying them, you have to let them know you're there. The second, we probably do need to host more rallies. I heard they had a really good, productive rally in Pittsburgh. We need more of those rallies on that scale. We need everyone to they don't have to organize a rally, or get with a group that does organize rallies, and get every Second Amendment group that's in your state at a rally. That will help you immensely.
Yeah.
And, all we can do is just, stay vigilant, because remember, I believe as Thomas Jefferson said, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right there. Also, we need to stay positive. We don't need to hide either, too, when talking about Second Amendment or guns.
I don't hide.
Out in the public, Don't be afraid.
I've got a gun tube patch on my hat everywhere I go.
A gun tube patch?
Yes.
Are they for sale?
No. These are the prototype patches that G-Web's made for me.
Oh, okay.
They're mine. I'm not giving them away.
All right. Just thought I'd ask.
Hell, I still proudly wear my black and gold NRA hat.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm still a member of the NRA, because it doesn't run out for a couple of more years yet.
It's mostly because, people will, question the whole NRA thing and start a conversation is why I wear it.
But so while you're talking, what are good things to do to stay positive during these next 2 years?
Well, for one thing, they only have a third of control of the government, so there ain't a hell of a lot they're going to be able to accomplish as long as we keep our attention focused on the Senate, which in that respect, I wrote 6 letters this morning, or 6 emails.
Yeah.
I'm a hell of a lot more concerned about what we're going to see here in Illinois.
Yes, that's another thing. You got to stay positive on the state side, too, and keep an eye on that, too.
Because they've got it all here.
Oh, yeah. Let me get my teeth back in. Your governor, isn't he causing some trouble or trying to?
He hasn't said anything yet, I don't think, but they're starting to push that stupid fucking gun shop registration crap and making the state police do their own version of the 4473, which is tantamount to registering the guns in the state.
Okay. Oh, Patrick's showing up over on Gun Channels. That's good. Grand Man showing up over there on YouTube along with 7 Wonders. Good to see you guys. All right, Squib.
It's Garand Man.
Oh, Garand. What did I keep saying?
Garand.
Oh, yeah.
I call it Garand. So
that's what I've always called it.
I mean, it's not like it's one of those really difficult to pronounce words like Illinois.
Right. It's Garand, it's Lever, and it's 45 Colt.
Well, you had me at Garand, but then you lost me, Tony.
Yeah, I thought it was Lever.
I mean, if it's 45 automatic Colt, I can deal with it.
Anyways, Squib, how do we stay positive?
You're asking me?
What's going on? Yes.
You're asking me. A pessimist by nature. Been a pessimist my whole life. Yeah, well, you guys can all hold hands and be kumbaya and let's be friends with the aunties and we all need to get along and be in for the team and
I never said that. I've never said that once.
You guys can do that crap. I don't care. That's your prerogative. If it works for you, it works for you. Being negative by nature works for me.
Hey, I saw you do 2 letters.
That was to shut Patriot up, who I'm a little disappointed is not here today.
Yeah,
so I can go.
Where is the Patriot?
Tell him I said there. Now zip it.
Yeah.
Frickin' frack, man. So, yeah, I mean, the whole... Look, if somebody else wants to do that, do it. I don't care. But if I don't go up my butt over it just because I'm not on board with you on that. It's just not my thing. When I see this stuff, Rick, I get a little bit down too. I sit there and go, man, what is the point in doing it? I might as well just go turn my crap in or sell it, or actually, I'd probably just sell it. Might as well make some money, right?
Yeah.
And just walk away from this bull crap and just focus on something. Maybe I'll get back into cars like I used to be or something. And it's like, no. They're getting to me. What I need to do is just take a break, sit down, take it easy, and get back to this. The problem is, for some people, when they sit down and take a break, they never get back to it.
Do you think that might be the purpose of all of this, is to make it such a pain in the ass, people just say, fuck it?
So pretty much, yeah. I mean, look, there are people who legitimately have concerns about what their beliefs will do to their marriage, what their beliefs will do to their job, what their beliefs might do as far as with the local law enforcement, with the school, with whatever they've got to deal with on a government level. There are also people who just think somebody else will do it. That's the way they've been their whole life. Leave it for somebody else to do. Leave it for somebody else to do. And, if we can reach those people, that's great, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I do what I do, and I've been doing it, and I'm just going to keep doing it. But every now and then, Rick, I get down about it, and a good night's sleep, or just a couple days off from the crap, or what. I mean, a lot of times, what brings me down is some of the videos on YouTube, and I don't know if you've noticed, but people adopt the NRA strategy, which is let's scare the crap out of you to get your money, but really they're not necessarily doing it to get your money. I mean, some YouTubers are, but it's to get you to get up off your butt. It's like, okay, if we talk nice to this person, they're not going to get off their butt and do anything. But if we scare them, they're going to get off their butt. And then for you, you don't need to be scared. It depresses you. And it sucks that people have to adopt that strategy. But with some people, if you don't kick them in their butt one way or the other, or scare them off the couch, they're never going to do anything. And it drives me up a wall, because you don't need to do that with me. Just keep bugging me like Patriot. And like a kid who keeps asking you the same question over and over again until you tell them.
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
All right. Let's move on to wheelchair. What's your idea of staying positive during this anti-gun crisis we got for the next year or two?
Well, I'll have to be perfectly honest. I'm more along the lines of Squib as far as being kind of negative. I'm not about, just kind of playing nice with the gun grabbers. Along with the letters that I normally send out, I sent out a letter to Marco Rubio this week, basically telling him that he has given up or gone against the oath that he took to the Constitution by introducing this bill. And I remind everybody in my letters that I, from state level up to the president, that, they took an oath. And that oath is to the Constitution, which includes the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 10th Amendment, and anything that is anti-gun is against the Constitution. And, I'm willing to have a somewhat peaceful discussion with somebody if they want to debate the merits of it. But most of the people on the left, you start stating out facts and immediately they go to feelings.
Wait a minute. Now, what the hell is to discuss about the merits? Because simple fact is law-abiding citizens are never the fucking problem.
Exactly. Never. Exactly. And when you bring that up, they start talking about their feelings and, that,
Why do you need
having a gun in public is scary. Do what?
I said, then he come back with, why do you need 30 rounds to shoot a deer?
And it's not about that. And I tell them in a heartbeat. And they always, you know, I love the dismissive way that they say, oh, our government could never go tyrannical. This is the United States. Are you crazy? And I'm like, look at the bills that they're trying to pass. Look at the laws that are already on the books. Look at the way, I mean, you know, you take a camera in public and people act like you're taking an Uzi into public.
Look at the socialists we got in Congress now.
If our founding fathers came back from the grave today, they would be armed because of where this government is now.
Yep.
This government's got way too big.
They would have hung everyone.
Too much power.
Right,
anyway,
catch you later.
Let's go to the last person on the panel, David, the Kingpin Bowling.
Well, I agree with writing the letters. If that's like Squib said, if that's your thing, then definitely write the letters. If rallies your thing, definitely do the rallies. YouTube videos or whatever you can do to get the message out there. But the thing that I think that the way we can stay the most positive and actually gain some traction is the mitigating the infighting. Because the anti-gunners, the left, the Democrats, whatever you want to classify them as, they're not stupid. I mean, they may come on TV and say a bunch of stupid stuff about the laws and regulations and rules and the economy. But when it comes to being shady, they're good at it.
True.
And they throw a bomb into our crowd and then sit back and watch us fight each other over it. Whether it be triggers, the bump stock, background checks, whatever it might be. We got to remember we're not, and I'll just go ahead and use the term. Some people may not like it. Some people may think it's too harsh or too soft. We're not the enemy. You know, and that's where gun channels is a little bit different than some of the other people that I've talked to. Usually, my experience with the gun channels people, you can get into a knockdown, drag out argument, and on the very next chat, you're back to being as cool as you ever were. But there's a lot of times where just across the board, we fight with each other over minor, stupid little things. You know, once again, going back to the bump stock, how many of us said, I don't care about that stupid piece of plastic? Where I get, you know, you have the right to say that. I'm not telling you what to think and how to talk, not censoring, but we have to be cautious of the fact that that's what they were looking for. That's what they took to the president and said, look, you know, 80% of gun owners said the bump stock's a stupid piece of plastic. You could easily get rid of that.
They didn't listen to the rest of the saying, but you have the right to have one. They didn't listen to that part, you know?
But we can come and we can debate back and forth, argue back and forth, and even fight like cats and dogs back and forth about, you know, whether we do this or whether we do that, whether we like this or whether we like that. But at the end of the day, if we're not unified, nobody else, if I don't have Squibs back, who is? You know, if Night Strike doesn't have Wheelchair Warriors back, who does? So we got to make sure that we don't allow cracks to form. And what has been put together here is the Second Amendment community, and especially the gun channels crew.
Absolutely. Raphael's joined us in the chat there. How you doing? You're right. I mean, I think I'm trying to stay positive. I mean, for me is, yes, I write all the letters and do all that stuff. And I was listening to parts of the Military Arms channel when he was talking to the Guns of America person. What's his name?
Eric Pratt.
Eric Pratt, yeah. Where I think it was Eric Pratt was saying, because he was asked about, you know, these pre-written emails and stuff, and it was asked, do they do any good? And he said, believe it or not, yes, they do. They might not read them per se, but they see how many they keep count on how many they're getting. That's what he said his lobbyists tell him. They keep count on how many they get. But what they don't pay attention to is they make if you're not in their district, then they ignore you. They don't count you. He said that's the one bad side of it, because if you're in their district, they'll count you on as whatever they're doing. But hey, it works. But I think what would make me happy is the Supreme Court to pick up some goddamn cases and vote in our favor. That would be a big boost to the Second Amendment community, I think. Because we need it. I mean, the lower courts are tearing us apart. And they need, so I don't know. That's that's my think on it. Anyway, let's see what we got. Say, what's this? Right. Well, I'm just reading the chat, see what's going on. Oh, Patrick says we need to keep advancing and not hold. We need to hold the dams by the nose and kick them in the ass. We need to go through them like crap through a goose. Yeah, you're right there. I mean, we do. We can't afford to step back. We got to stay positive. We got to keep going forward. But where staying positive is all this negative stuff we keep seeing. I mean, Feinstein introduced her assault weapons ban this time. I think it's was it 205 different types of weapons she's got on the ban. And I think she had it before, but not only not sell them, they don't even want them manufactured in this country. So, they're going for an all-out, no guns whatsoever. The bottom line, that's what they're after. They want to get rid of all the guns in America. Then we'll all be safe. We'll have utopia, and we'll all be living like, under the Federation in Star Trek. Everybody's one big happy family. But in real life, it don't work that way, I'm afraid.
Nope.
So,
And I agree a lot with what David said. I've quit watching some of the channels that has the constant infighting and the anti-other channels and stuff, because we don't need that. Our goal is the same no matter what our personality differences are, no matter whether we think this person's a shill or not. Our goal is to protect the Second Amendment. Our goal is to make sure that the government does not infringe on our rights to keep and bear arms. And, petty differences need to be put aside and, just go all out and get together despite personal petty differences, despite what we think of the other person. As long as they're for the Second Amendment, they're on our team.
Also, one of the things that is kind of disturbing and a little disheartening to me is, and I'm not judging anybody for what they think. I don't know everybody and their whole background and what they've been through, but when I hear, whether it's casual conversation or it's on the internet or wherever, people say, well, I'm fed up with this. It's time to start killing people. You've lost me right there.
Big time.
Now, I'm not a coward. And if there's time that you got to get your clothes dirty and get in the mix, I'd like to think that I'm there. But right now, because they're introducing this law or introducing that law or trying to ban this, I'm not killing anybody over that. And I'm not really interested in hanging out in a conversation where a bunch of people are talking about, yeah, let's go lock and load and go start blasting people. And I'm pro Second Amendment. I'm definitely all about shall not be infringed. But your next door neighbor who hears you say, well, I'm just going to kill somebody, you've lost them. They're not. They got kids. Squib talks about it all the time.
Don't ever say that. Period.
Well, I don't say that, but you hear it all the time. You hear people say it all the time that it's time to start getting physical. It's time to start breaking out the guns and shooting people. And that's not a winning message. That's not a winning message whatsoever, because the anti-gunners are going to be like, look, right there, we just proved how dangerous they are. They're threatening, because everything that we say or do is going to be put under the microscope. And your next door neighbor who doesn't own a gun but sure likes to look at them and enjoys hearing you talk about them, just never decided to get one for himself, is going to be like, you know what, that gun guy is crazy because I'm not killing somebody over some law I don't agree with. And I'm also not saying that eventually there may come a time where we've all got to meet up and form a line and hold that line. But it's not right now.
Well, if we do, will midnight be cooking for us to keep us all fed while we're doing that? Because I could really go for a waffle right now.
One can only hope.
Yeah, I don't think Waffle House would be open when the STF shit hits the fan thing happens.
Oh, man.
Well, you know, Waffle House is always open, so it'll probably...
Oh, okay. Then I'm there. All right. But only if we have to.
And you have to order a cheeseburger for Tony.
I still have to work on my cheeseburger, my Waffle House cheeseburger video. I've got a short video I've been trying to put together, but just haven't made enough time. You know, David, you bring up a good point, because there are people in our community that don't represent our community. You hear them running their mouth at a gun show. You hear them running their mouth maybe at work or other places, maybe at the gun store. Certain gun stores kind of cater to more shady people than others. And, you know, maybe not, they haven't broken any laws yet, but they really do represent us in a way that we don't want. They bring an attention to us we don't want. It's not that we want to turn anybody away, but we also do need to keep our own house clean. But that goes with any organization. The government should be keeping their house clean. Law enforcement should be keeping their house clean. The schools should be keeping their house clean. Everybody. And it's really hard to do when you've got a free society like this. And I am not advocating that we get rid of that free society. If anything, I'd like to see our society be a little bit more free. Not socialist, but more free. I don't think we're all going to always agree. This whole kumbaya crap drives me up a wall, because we're all individuals, but we all, in the same sense that we all have differences, and there's certain things that we're just not willing to cross a line on, there's certain things we are willing to collaborate on, and we all bring something to the table. We all have a resource that we bring to that table. Some people have more resources than others, or whatever it is, but we all bring something to that table. And there are those times when we come together and we do our best to make a difference, but it's just not always going to happen. If you can be the kind of person, I don't mean you, David, I mean you, everybody out there listening. If you can be the kind of person that can get a little bit butthurt and get over it, then you're also the kind of person who can go to bed hearing bad news, and a few days later, you're back in the fight.
Yep. Hey, all I want is to be able to buy guns and go shoot. That's all I want. You know?
Me too.
But unfortunately, they're trying to take it away from us.
Our fight right now is through the laws, the courts, and so on. You know, like David said, there may come a time where we have to form a line, but, you know, I don't see us being to that point or anywhere close to that point yet. And these people that want to go out and start doing this stuff now, you know, they're the ones that are giving the gun grabbers these terrible things to say about us when they're talking on all the mainstream media channels. You know, you've got all these crazy people out there. They're the reasons we need these red flag laws and yada, yada, yada. You know, and that hurts our cause.
I'd rather win the fight legally. And in that case, it's going to go on and on and on and on and on, possibly with a bad result decades from now.
Yep.
Then have a situation where it's American against American.
Exactly.
I mean, Yeah, and there's not really a way to draw lines geographically like there was back then. And that's not to say there weren't people trapped on either side of the line that felt differently. I mean, you look at the Revolutionary War. It was only, what, slightly more than half the colonists wanted to break away from England. I mean, that was an uphill battle. But, yeah, I think people need to be careful what they say, and I think people need to learn how to accept certain things in our community, whether it be a difference in opinion or a difference in reason. Rick, you brought it up right there. All you want to do is be able to go buy guns and go shooting. Somebody else might just want, all I want is to be able to shoot competitively. Somebody else might, all I want to do is conceal carry. Somebody else is like, all I want to do is collect antiques. Somebody else might, all I want to do is reload. And there's some people that do a lot of things that are related to guns, and there's some people that only do one or two things. And some people, it really comes down to money. The same kind of mentality that says, I got mine, so I don't really care if they pass that law because that just means my stuff is going to be more valuable, is the same kind of mentality that lies on YouTube or on TV or in a magazine or whatever to get people to buy their product or to send money to their cause. The infighting between the NRA and the GOA and all the other, and all the state organizations and all that to try to get your money, there are people on YouTube and in our community that do the same thing, that sometimes say this negative stuff to get you off the couch, but sometimes they say this negative stuff to get you to send money to their cause. There's always going to be some form of infighting. You're going to have somebody who says they're not in it for the money, but then later you find out that they are. And you're going to have somebody else that says they're in it for the money, but they're still putting out a good message out there, and they're able to balance that. And I really wish we had that with our gun organizations. I don't, all these people are like, screw the NRA, go to the GOA. I got news for you guys. The GOA is the same thing. Look at the junk mail you get from them. Now, yeah, people can go, well, the GOA is doing this and the NRA is doing that. But okay, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, they're all in business to make money. It's can they balance making their members happy, doing what they're supposed to be doing, with keeping themselves in business. And it's the same thing with a YouTuber or a gun store owner. I've been wanting to know for the longest time, why aren't these gun stores and ammunition manufacturers and gun manufacturers and accessory manufacturers, and I'm not talking about the small ones that just started up a year or two ago. I'm talking about the ones that have been in business for decades, that have made money, have grown and expanded and have resources. Why aren't they pumping a ton of money into fighting for our gun rights? Probably because as long as there's a threat of a gun ban, people are going to be buying more guns. And as soon as there isn't a threat, so the people we give our hard-earned money to every time we go down to the gun store or click online or do whatever, so to some extent, I think they're just as guilty as the NRA or GOA or any of them for taking our money and not doing anything for us. And we just keep giving it to them. Why? Because we want the product. Why? Because we believe in fighting for the cause. Why? Because we like their YouTube channel. So, I mean, I would like to see some more. I'd like to see some more balance where somebody could make a living or employ people or sell a product, but still do the right thing and fight for the Second Amendment, even if it puts them out of a job.
Oh, Midnight in the chat come up with a good point. He's been doing that a lot today. I heard,
Yeah, he needs to stop that.
Yeah, he does need to stop it. He goes, that's why they allow us to keep banned stuff. That way, there's less opposition to the ban. It makes people not push back because they've already had their AR.
He's absolutely correct.
We're not going to push so hard. Well, I got my AR.
Yep. That's how they divide us. That's why they pick on these evil, scary black rifles that the FUDs don't care about because they got their shotgun. That's how they divide us. Yeah. There's a lot of things they do. They'll say, oh, well, all you need is 10.
Stop at your ARs or your
But they don't. But those people don't believe it, or they know it, but they don't care because they're rubbing their hands together and they're going, my $500 rifle is going to be worth $5,000 next year. Go ahead, bring it. And that's how they divide us. It's all about money. Think about the person who just got into guns, who doesn't know what it's like to have one with a 15-round mag, and the gun laws there say it has to have a 10-round, even though it was designed for a 15. And they're new to guns, and their first gun comes with two 10-round mags, and they don't know the difference. They don't really, it's like, oh, okay, fine, I'm used to it. So as they change these things gradually, they get more and more people used to it. They just accept it. Look how well I accept the Michigan pistol registration. Why? It's been there my whole life. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But there are bigger fish to fry for me. So I've just learned to accept it. So the more they keep inching these things in, the more people that get into it start to accept it, and they just agree with it. And it divides us even further.
Yeah, I'd like to address something that's in the chat there. Barbara Carbone, if you don't think that the Second Amendment is threatened, look at the bills being introduced in Congress, both state Congresses and the federal Congress. You know, you got Feinstein, Schumer, Pelosi, all of them trying to take away a lot of our guns. You've got even Republicans like Marco Rubio introducing the national red flag law. You've got all these different states that are changing gun laws, like you can't buy a long gun until you're 21. I think Florida did that, and there's a lot of other states that have passed that. You know, the Second Amendment is always going to be a right that we have to fight for.
And I'll say something real quick. I know Barbara from another chat that I hang out in, and she's an honest person. Like, so please, everybody, she's willing to have discussion, you know, and I know everybody will be kind to her and she'll be kind back to you, but she is definitely willing to have a discussion. Her and I disagree on just about everything politically, but at the end of every chat, she always says, "Good to talk to you, David. Nice seeing you." You know, so she's not here just attacking, you know, what we believe in. She's interested in a conversation. And like I said, I disagree with her a lot, but she is a very decent person. So, you know, be nice to her. Not that everybody wouldn't be nice to her, but I'm saying, you know, she's not here just throwing stones trying to get us riled up. She's not. Yeah, she's definitely not here as a troll.
And sometimes that needs to be said, David, in our community. Sometimes, you know, the people that we talk to every single day, sometimes you get two new people together, or maybe two people that haven't met before or don't have a whole lot of dialogue, and they get a misunderstanding between the two of them, and then there's this online, you know, fighting going on, and it's not pretty, and it's really not helpful to our community at all. So when you get somebody that you trust vouch for somebody that you don't know, I think it really makes a difference. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. Remember, there are also some people that take it too far.
Real quick, I want to do my quiz for last week, and it was for the America Stand Your Ground baseball cap, plus my little envelope here of, if I can get it all out, is my sticker, some cards, some gun channel sticker, a tactical pickle sticker. Anybody can see that?
Tactical pickle.
And my little trading card thing that G-Web's made. So, all that. And the question was, hang on, got to bring it up. I don't remember it off the top of my head. In Blue Bloods, the character Danny Regan, this was in season 1's finale. It was episode 22. I asked what was the make and model of the gun that he used, and it was a Smith & Wesson 5946. That was the answer. And let's see, on my little Nandy pick, we had 4 entries. So let me hit my draw button and see who we got. Mel Smith is the winner. So I need an address. Send me your address, and I will get the stuff out to you. And I got a humdinger of a question for this week, because I think it's tough. But again, I don't watch the show. But I got one now from The Walking Dead is my question for this week's.
Uh-oh.
You know, not only the hat and the stickers, I'm even throwing in one of these pistol patches that I got from J-Webs.
And if you don't mind, Rick, I'll throw in something. I've got a Clover Tack PVC patch I'll throw on top of that too.
Okay, all right. So if we find out who the winner is next week, I'll give you the address and you can send it to them.
All right.
All right, that works. Thanks. So I think it's a tough question for this one. And I'll give that around in another 15 to 20 minutes. So anyway, back to conversation. What were you saying, Night Strike? Sorry if it interrupt.
No, it's cool. It's your show. Interrupt all you want. But I'm just saying that we were talking about those that come out there in chat. There are some people that take it a bit too far with their sarcasm or their dry sense of humor, and we mistake them as antis or, not Second Amendment supporters when they are.
Yeah. I mean, I think right now, like they want to ban semi-automatics, assault weapons ban and everything else I guess you'd say right now ultimately they want to get rid of all the guns, but it's gun control right now. They're trying to tell me what kind of gun that I can have, which is not what the Second Amendment says, the right to bear arms. It doesn't say a right to bear a pistol and a bolt action rifle. It says to bear arms. As long as they have arms available, I should be able to buy what I want. That's my say on it anyway.
See, the good thing, the way I look at it too, is the good thing about what the Constitution is the right to bear arms is not a right that the government gives us. It's a right that it's a protected right against the government. It says what you cannot take away from us. And if you were to just go ahead and erase all government, and we were just nomads roaming the face of the earth, any group of people would say that you should be able to defend yourself and your family the best way you see fit. And what I definitely encourage the word defend. Nobody here, Squib talked about it the other day on the show, nobody that I'm aware of is interested in offending. Nobody's strapping their gun on going, I can't wait to go shoot somebody with my new gun. Even back in the caveman days, the caveman didn't get a new stick and say, I can't wait to wallop somebody in the head with this. But he got a new stick and said, if I need to wallop somebody in the head, this is a much better stick. So whether you believe in what the government says, there's a human nature that you cannot deny, whether you deny the words in the Second Amendment or not. Human nature, it's written in our DNA to defend ourselves and our loved ones. And when you strip that away, you take a part of your humanity away.
Absolutely. I mean, even the countries in Europe, even though it might not be in their government's mandate or whatever you want to call it, but all over the world, people have a right to defend themselves if somebody's attacking you. It's human, as you said, it's human nature. I'm just not going to stand there and let somebody beat the hell out of me or shoot me or stab me without doing something in return. And why should the criminal have the advantage over me? If he has a gun, I should have one. And it's basically what
should have a better gun.
Yeah. But anyway, we got anything else we want to say on this?
I'd like to chime in again.
Okay, go.
A couple things. One, I hate chat rooms because just like with text messaging, all you see is what's written. You don't have the inflection of the voice. You don't know how the person is saying it. And oftentimes it's taken wrong. And that's where you get all these problems. Two, I didn't see who it was that mentioned it, but mentioned that it would be great if Barbara Carbone was to come on one of the shows and be in the panel. I think that would be an excellent thing. I'd love to have her on the show because I understand her point about she considers gun control a separate matter from the Second Amendment. And the problem that we're having isn't a problem with a particular tool like guns. The problem is with the heart of man. And in England, they've had a major outbreak of people dying from stabbings because they've taken away all the guns. People who want to kill people will manage to do it no matter what tools are available. They will find something if it's nothing but a kitchen knife or a hammer or a tree limb. You know, you can't ban away problems with people's anger issues, problems with people's hearts not being right, people that have zero morals. The number of incidents of mass shootings, yeah, they are terrible, you know. But if you look at the statistics, you know, mass shootings are less than 1% of the deaths that take place. And, you know, a lot of the quote unquote school shootings, one of the groups came out with saying it was over 200 school shootings, and NPR went in and did an investigation on it. And, you know, National Public Radio is not exactly what you would call a friend to the Second Amendment. And they showed that less than 29% of those 200 would even classify as a school shooting. Most of them were things where something happened in a school zone, or a officer that was on the school grounds had a negligent discharge, or something of that nature. And
yeah, you're right. I saw a good meme on Facebook the other day, and what it say? It's somebody answered back, yeah, but so is a car, and don't you think that's dangerous? And the person said, well, I learned to drive a car. Exactly, learn how to handle a firearm. It's the same. I mean, a car is a lethal weapon if you don't know how to drive it right, you know. And same with a firearm. You don't know how to handle it right. Yes, in somebody's hands who has no idea what to do with it, it could be a dangerous weapon. But you have to train it. And that's what it's all about. Anyway, I want to move on.
No, let's not move on. Let's stay here all day.
Okay, what do you got? What else you got to say about it then, Squid?
Nothing. I just think it's a good topic. Thanks for bringing it up.
Okay, but we can keep on talking about it if people got things. Though Barbara's keeping it interested there in the old chat.
One thing I'll throw out is I heard recently, I think it might have been a 2016 stat, maybe a 2017 stat, but they said that there was over 2 million cases of where someone with a firearm either had the opportunity to save their own life or stop a crime. And what was there, 30,000, 40,000, or something like that, way less than 2 million cases of where a gun was used in a crime, including homicides.
Yeah, I read that somewhere too. Also, going back to mass shootings, you see that the committee down there in Florida, that they came out with, even the police chief who was in charge, who was never been a friend of the Second Amendment as a police chief, even come out and said that the police can't get there fast enough. I mean, even though that, what do you call him, detective officer, whatever you call it, was there in 1.37 seconds. Oh, minutes. I mean, 1 minute, 37 seconds. But he 14 people would have been shot by then, wounded or killed. But he chose not to go in. But that's for a different day. But what he said there, if a school teacher or somebody else in the school had a weapon and shot back, that count would have been much less than what it was. He even agreed that arming teachers is a good idea. Now, we're not, and as he said, you don't force, if a teacher doesn't want to be armed, they don't have to be. But I bet you there's teachers out there who are into guns would be willing to do it with the right training. And that's all we're saying, too, on that subject,
Well, I had 2 teachers that were in my concealed carry class.
I'm sorry, Wilshire. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, they both wanted to be able to carry in school.
No, you think about it. Here's the logic behind it. And you're going to send your kid off to school and trust their mind and their development and their emotional growth to a total stranger because they're a 1st grade teacher, a 12th grade teacher, an 8th grade teacher. So you allow your child's mind to be influenced by this person and their morals and their character to be influenced by this person, but you don't trust that person enough to carry a firearm in the school to defend your child's life. So, the fact that, say Travis has a gun and nobody ever knows about it because nothing ever happens in his class, you're still allowing Travis to teach your children that are going to go out into the world with what Travis taught them. So you trust him enough with the education of your child, but not the safety. Doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't to me either. It doesn't to me either. So, huddling in the corner, with your arms spread out around the children is going to save them.
Yeah, or a box of rocks.
Yeah, box of rocks
pucks.
Or hockey pucks.
Yeah, but it's just like this, okay? If you want something to be absent in a specific area, you have to have security or law enforcement or even the military enforce it. Because if it's not enforced, that just tells a deranged individual that is possibly a criminal already that they can go in and do whatever the hell they want. And, by the time the cops get there, they can suicide.
Absolutely.
So, it's like this. We don't say there's a demilitarized zone in between North and South Korea and then just not have anybody stationed at the border. Nobody's there. It's demilitarized, right? No, we've got people there protecting the damn border because if we don't, military is just going to march right in. So the same thing with a gun-free zone. If you want it gun-free, then you need to have law enforcement be protecting the zones around the gun-free zone. That's the only way.
And then you have to make it where they are required to protect, both legally and where they can't get sued for it, where they can get sued. Because, the Supreme Court in 2005 and then the lower court in Florida said that you cannot hold these police accountable legally, or you can't sue them either because they are not required to protect you. And if they're not required to protect you, then you've got to be able to defend yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you there on that. And what else was I going to mention on that? There was something else, but it slipped my mind right now. But anyway, anybody got anything else to say on that? No? Okay. Moving on. Yeah, go on.
I got something unrelated.
All right.
I just read that they finally figured out who killed JonBenet Ramsay.
They did?
The
Yep.
mother?
Nope.
Kennedy.
A guy named Gary Oliva or Oliva. He lived not far from there, and he apparently admitted to it in a letter to one of his schoolmates that he had accidentally busted her head open, apparently while raping her. He was a convicted child molester. Oh,
there we go. I didn't see that. Is that just come out, or is it just buried in the bottom, on the 8th page of the newspaper?
It just came out within the last day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just saw it earlier today.
All right. Anyway, it's almost 4 o'clock before people start leaving. I'm going to keep on running as long as the chat keeps going. Up to 2 hours. That's my new rule now. But if people have to leave, I want to do the next quiz. Now, you guys ready for this one? I think this one is... Oh, before I do it, it's going to be the same hat, the American Stand Your Ground hat. I mean, that's a nice hat, I think. Plus the my sticker, some cards, the tactical pickle sticker, my little trading card, plus the gun patch. It's not a sticker. This is an actual patch. I got a couple. I got one here on my gun cabinet here. So there's all
plus the Clover Tech PVC patch I'll send.
Oh yeah, and the Clover Tech PVC patch. That's donated by David the Kingpin Bowling. All right. Now that we got that done, let me pull up my question. Okay. The character, Daryl Dixon, right? Now this is where it gets tricky. In the episode, season 8, episode 6, and make it easier because they both, from what I got, I've never watched the show in my life, but from what I researched, I don't want the handguns he shoots. There was a particular rifle that he shot in that show. I want to know the make of it and the attachments he had on it. All right. So the character Daryl Dixon in season 8, episode 6, I think it was called The King, the Widow, and Rick. The rifle. I want to know what it was. What was the make and stuff, and what stuff did he have fitted on it? So, and you emailed the question to Rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com, and you have it to noontime next Saturday. There we go. And the answer is not 42 midnight. So, there we go. Did everybody get the question? Did they hear it? Well, we got silence. Is that a tough question?
Because you don't want us to talk about scopes and sights.
Well, I mean, I don't watch the show, but you think that was a pretty decent question?
Yeah, but it looks like people have to send in the answer.
That's right. I need them to send in the answer if they know what it is. The correct answer, of course. I mean, I told you the episode, and I told you it's a rifle. That's all I'm telling you. So there we go.
And they don't know the answer.
And if you don't know the answer, don't bother to email me. Okay, so that is the question for next week's quiz, or for this week's quiz, which I'll answer next Saturday. And if anybody's got any questions they want to use for a quiz, send them in to me as well. and topics. You can send questions for quizzes. You can send questions you want to ask as topics. By all means, please do this. You know, it all helps. I mean, I try to come up with all these ideas, and sometimes it just, sometimes it gets tough to find stuff to talk about.
Raphael, John Moses Browning is the corrector. It is the correct answer, but not an answer to the question Rick is asking.
All right, that works. Okay, next topic. Is she going to retire or not from the Supreme Court?
Oh,
No.
my God.
What night strike? What's the buzz?
Don't take this the wrong way, Rick, but this has been the continuous running record for like the past couple days. You know this, right?
No. I haven't watched any chat for a couple of days.
Oh, my God.
This morning, I didn't hear it mentioned on there.
Yeah, but we don't know whether she's going to retire or she's being forced to retire. She's just not showing up to do her job. That's all we know.
Yeah, you're right. Plus, in a week or so, they take a month off, so she has all that time to recover too.
Yeah, she's got all that time legally to recover. But again, if she doesn't come back after that, then we literally have to actually see about getting her medically retired.
Can that be done to a Supreme Court justice?
Well, it can be done to anyone.
They put
if
out
it
a
can be done to
statement.
anyone, it can be done to a Supreme Court justice.
They put out a statement, I think it was this morning, that her doctor said that she's cancer-free right now, too. So I seriously doubt, after she got that news, that she's going to even play with the idea of retiring. I think
she's going to try and run it to 2020.
I don't know as far as the rules go. I think that she should be disbarred for saying that she's going to fight against Trump. There's bias right there. You can't argue that. She said herself that she was biased against Trump. So
yeah, because it's not your job as a Supreme Court justice to play sides. It's your job to make decisions based upon the letter of the law. And if you cannot do that, then you should not be a judge nor a lawyer in the United States of America. Period.
You're right. You're right.
Could you imagine if Brett Kavanaugh were to come out and say, when Beto O'Rourke is elected president, I'm not going to retire until he's gone. They would just, or somebody said that, a conservative justice said that about Barack Obama. It'd be a firestorm.
The Democrats are blind to blow,
Well, they just kill ours, so it don't matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfectly healthy dude like who the hell was it? Just had a heart attack.
Are you talking about Antonin Scalia?
Yeah, Scalia, perfectly healthy, spelt dude, drops dead of a heart attack. Uh-huh.
On a shady hunt, I brought this up last night, and I'm not really too sure if I was pretty fired up, so I kind of threw my foot in my mouth a couple different times and said some dumb things. But the one thing I was trying to get a pulse is, this is a Supreme Court justice who goes on a shady hunting trip and then dies. And there's no investigation, there's no autopsy, and I understand the family has the right and all that kind of stuff. But there's something obviously pretty shady about what happened to Antonin Scalia. And maybe my tinfoil hat's on too tight, but some type of investigation would have been better than, oh, he's dead, let's move on.
Well, yeah, there was not any prior health scares or any indication that he was going to fucking drop dead at any second, neither.
No, there wasn't.
But Ginsburg, for an 85-year-old, she's damn fit. So she could do it. I think she's going to hang in there just out of spite.
Oh, she's pure meanness. She'll stay alive because of that.
I don't wish her to have cancer. You know what I'm saying? I don't wish it upon her. like that. But I think she needs to retire. Cause she, I mean,
Well,
she's getting, you know.
I can't say what I wish while we're live.
Well, and that's one of the other unique things about what I'll just go ahead and classify as the right from the left. All throughout, Sean Hannity, Chris Plant, Rush Limbaugh, you, Rich, Night Strike, you never come out and say, I want so-and-so to die because I hate their guts because they don't agree with me. But everywhere from Don Lemon to Hillary Clinton to everybody on the other side can freely come out and say, let's kill Donald Trump. I wish that...
or make depictions of or puppets of Donald Trump dying.
Well, the one senator tweeted that one girl. I don't remember the whole story, so all I can say is that one and that one. But a sitting senator, tweeted at somebody, "You need to die." No, you should go kill yourself. A senator texted somebody or tweeted somebody, "You should go kill yourself," because he disagreed with what she had tweeted out.
Oh yeah.
Just to let you know, that was a Democratic senator, by the way, not a Republican.
Well, let me put it this way. The Democrats have proven without a shadow of a doubt that there's no more civility in politics. There's not. There's no more. You know, that era of being civil in politics is gone.
Well, you can
because
quote
of what
Hillary
they did to Kavanaugh, what they're doing to Trump, and how they handled themselves for the last couple of elections. They've pretty much killed all civility in politics.
You can quote Hillary Clinton. She said those words exactly. Civility won't return until we're back in power. Now, that may not be a word-for-word quote, but it's a very close to word-for-word quote, and you can look it up anywhere on the internet. Hillary Clinton said, no civility till we're back in power.
Well, if that's what it takes for them to be civil, then I don't want them back in power. I don't want you to be civil. I want you to act like an ass. I want you to make a fool of yourself because you're proving that that your side of the aisle are not decent human beings. You cannot be a decent person. So I don't want you in power.
They ain't proving it too fucking well because they're still gaining ground.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part.
It is. And a lot of it, I mean, why are they still getting, I mean.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
You get all the votes from the people who are on all of the government assistance. They don't want to lose all the freebies they get. And you go, yeah, but what good is it if they don't have gun rights? Oh, they've got gun rights. The same kind of people that don't care about the Second Amendment, as long as they're getting their welfare check, they can go get a gun where they go get their drugs on the street corner.
Oh yeah,
you think they care about registration? They don't care about registration. You think they care about magazine capacity? They don't care about none of that stuff because they're more interested in, if they even vote at all, voting for the person that's going to keep that free money coming in.
Here's a fact. Rick, you've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. In that hour and 10 minutes, I could have been to Baltimore City, bought any gun that you're looking for, and been back here in time to say, have a nice day, everybody. If I wanted to go to my local gun store, especially me, my own personal experience, I'm going to go in, I'm going to sign a bunch of paperwork, I'm going to pick the gun that I want, I'm going to put a down payment on it, they're going to put my background check in, it's going to get delayed for 7 days, so next weekend I can go get my gun. You know, and the only reason I get a delay is because I've got a name that is similar to somebody else's. My criminal background is fine. You know, I have, a handgun license and all that, but I still get a 7-day delay.
But
in that time, you could get killed by somebody who has it out for you.
But what I'm saying, though, is in the same sense that somebody isn't going to go through the rigmarole to get a prescription because they're having trouble dealing with life, they can just go down to the corner and get some cheap drugs that'll work now instead of them having to schedule a doctor appointment, wait to be seen, get put on something, wait for it to enter their system, having to up it. It doesn't work. Now we got to wean you off. Now we got to try something. 6 months later, they're still feeling bad. No, they can go on the street corner and then go get something that'll make them feel better in 5 minutes. Well, the same place is where they can get a gun. So as long as they're getting their assistance, they're getting their cheap housing, they're getting their free health care, they're getting whatever the hell it is the Democrats promise, They're not about to do anything to lose any of that stuff. And they don't care about gun rights, and they don't care about getting themselves straight, and they don't care about a lot of stuff, because for them, it's just not an issue. They're not about to go do what David's saying about filling out all that paperwork and putting their personal information out there, and then they find out, oh, you got a felony, sorry, you can't get one anyhow. Yeah, I can, because I can just drive into Baltimore and go get it, you know. And that's just it. Think about how our numbers would be if that population, first off, there wasn't so many people on assistance, there weren't so many people with a criminal record, and the people that in some cases could be argued need it most for protection because of where they live were actually on our side. But then they couldn't vote Democrat. They'd have to vote Republican or Independent in order to do. And if you try to rationalize that with somebody over there, I don't always know that it's really going to get through, because at the end of the day, money talks and BS walks.
And well, I watched a thing where a local CBS channel out in California decided to do a gun control piece that they thought was going to be very pro, gun grabbing. And they went to San Quentin and talked to convicted murderers about where they get their guns and how they got their guns and so on. And every single one of them said for $600 they could get one out of a trunk of somebody's car within 5 minutes and go and do what it is they wanted to do. And it didn't matter what kind of a gun they wanted, including, guns that have been altered to be fully automatic and so on and so forth. That's where criminals are going to get their guns. They're not going to go through, the legal channels to get them.
Right, but for those who go to vote, for those who don't necessarily worry about, I mean, some people won't vote because they fill their names on a list no matter what. But for those who go vote, and they vote for the side that typically votes to take away our Second Amendment rights, it's just not an issue to them, because they don't go and get their guns where we get our guns. They don't follow the law. They don't. So even if you're a hardened felon, you're like, first off, I don't give a crap about politics. And secondly, I don't want to be anywhere where I might get identified or anything else like that. There's still all those people who don't have a criminal record, who aren't criminals, but they're more concerned about not having to get up every day, deal with life, work a job, and pay taxes. They just want that free money. So if, voting for Nancy Pelosi means that's going to keep coming, well, I don't give a crap about her gun control, because I can just go get mine. Like you said, out of a trunk.
Here's a simple fact. If we could just get our side to go vote, we would never have a problem.
Yep.
Yep. You're right.
It's getting people off their butt, like Squib was saying earlier. A lot of the rhetoric is just to try to get people off their butts. It bothers me, the number of people that walk around completely clueless. I mean, you all seen the interviews on the street where they ask people questions like, who's the president, who's the vice president, who's the secretary of state, what is the national anthem? I mean, just, some of the things that ought to just be ingrained in any American. And the majority of people are clueless.
Yeah. Now, here's something I want to. In the chat here, they're talking about the wall and how Trump said the Mexicans will pay for it. And people say he lied or that he goofed up there. I think the only thing he goofed up on, this is my opinion now, is it was the way he said it. I mean, because he wanted to do a new deal with Mexico. Because right now, Mexico, before the new deal, Mexico was robbing us blind on everything. I mean, you know, we had to pay to get things into Mexico, but Mexico could send things back to us for almost nothing, right? What
Yep.
he was with the New Deal, it would be like the tariff thing. They starting to have to pay something to ship it back to the United States, and that's what he meant, because they'll be paying that kind of stuff. We won't be losing money to them. That's how they're paying for the wall. I think, in my opinion, that is what he was trying to say. But by saying Mexico will pay for it, the opposition took it as they're literally going to come up with $5 billion to give to America to pay for this wall. I don't think that's how he meant it. I could be wrong, but that is how I took it when I was listening to him on the campaign trail.
And he said that way before he was elected president, because people were asking him, what do you mean Mexico is going to pay for it? He specifically said a number of different times, through the New Deal that we're going to sign and tariffs and all that stuff, that's how it's going to get paid for. And aside from all of that, nobody's stupid. Nobody in them. Okay, if there was 1,000 people at the Trump rally, 5 of them thought Mexico was going to dig in their pocket and pull out the cash. Everybody that chance build that wall is fine with paying for it. You can go right on the internet and look at the GoFundMe that the guy is developing, that's got gobs and gobs of cash in it from people donating to build the wall.
I think he's up to 20 million now.
Yeah, but, you know, and that's people digging in their pocket and sending that.
Barbara's disagreeing with us, by the way, David.
Yeah, that's usual. Me and Barb usually have some pretty interesting conversations. Like I said, she's harmless though. She's just interested in a good conversation.
As I say, it's good conversation to have somebody in here who, you know.
And I really appreciate her hanging out. You know, she.
As far as that wall thing goes, I don't give a shit about that wall one way or the other. Constantine wire and a fence would be fine.
Yeah.
That wall is only going to be a symbol, because it won't take them hours to figure out how to get under it.
Well, I mean, look at the huge tunnel that they found in San Diego, where they were driving tractor trailers back and forth underground from Mexico into the U.S. It's been, I don't know, probably 8 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah. Let me throw a little conspiracy. Let me throw a little conspiracy angle at that, because you don't think that the American government knew that those tunnels were there? With all the sophisticated satellites and tracking and spying and stuff that they can do, you don't think that they were well aware that there was drug tunnels underneath? I'm not saying that they were, but from what I understand about the shadiness of Washington, D.C., they probably sure knew that they were there.
I don't doubt that somebody in government knew. Somebody in the CIA and NSA or something like that. I don't doubt it.
I think they knew of the existence of tunnels because there's always going to be tunnels. There just will. Now that specific one, operating that specific, maybe not, but they're always looking, and from time to time they find one, and it's a fact of life. So tunnels have been used forever. So it's going to keep going on. I mean, if they really want to make the wall work, they're going to have to dig a 40-foot trench, fill it full of concrete and rebar, and maybe put some sheets of steel in there. They just don't have enough material. And even then, somebody will just go, well, screw it, we'll dig down 50 feet or 60 feet, or we'll blast through the rebar and concrete stuff. All you're doing is making it difficult. The more you put in there, the harder they've got to work. But I mean, it's been done before. So with 19th and 20th century technology, you can get past that wall. It's not that hard. But it's still, I think for him, it's a symbolism. It's going to be his legacy. And I understand there are people out there that say they're worried he'll trade the Second Amendment to get his damn wall, and maybe he will. I hope not. But that would be, I would hope that he would have an advisor to go, sir, if you trade the Second Amendment for the wall, they're not going to remember that you built the wall. They're going to remember that you pissed on the Bill of Rights.
Yeah, that's the one thing I know at the beginning of the show we're talking and trying to be positive, but that's the one thing that scares the hell out of me is if all of a sudden the House goes, all right, we're giving you your $5 million, but we want the assault weapons ban attached to it. And it gets to the Senate, and the Senate, because we have some real flakes in the Senate on the Republican side, go, well, the $5 million is what Trump wants. So we pass it.
Do you think
then
Trump,
he gets the president, and he's going to sign it because he got his $5 million.
do you think that Trump is stupid enough to realize that, or not to realize that if he does that, he's not winning re-election, period?
Well,
The only thing that got that fucker into office.
I mean, he might not want. He says he's going to do 2020, but then again, I mean, all the flack he's taken. Do you think he wants to do it for another 4 years? I don't think he does. And personally, you can say, well, do you think he's going to get voted in 2020? Even if he does want to run, it doesn't matter. The law's been done. The damage has already been done, whether we vote him in or not. If he does that.
What was the key thing to get him to win this election?
Was his support for the Second Amendment.
His going to bed with the NRA specifically.
Yeah. And the NRA said, let's ban the bump stock. The NRA is supporting the red flag law. I'm a member of the NRA, and I'm trying to stick up for them, but they ain't making it easy, I can tell you.
No, they're not.
You know, so, and they listen, and the president listens to the NRA. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I mean, I'm wearing my tinfoil hat here. That might never happen, but it's a possibility, and it scares the shit out of me.
A rare moment where Rick has a tinfoil hat. Is it right underneath your actual hat, or is it, you know?
No, that's tinfoil lined, man.
Tinfoil lined.
I've always
Okay.
got that on.
All right. Good. So that the aliens and the satellites can't mess with your brain.
That's right. That's right. And I sleep with my 45 by the side of my bed, sitting on top of my Bible.
Oh, good man. Good man.
You know? All right. Do we want to talk about anything else, or do we want to wind this down?
Up to you.
Jesus Christ, I just got back.
You've been back here for about 25 minutes, Tony. I kept track. Yeah. All right. What do you want to talk about, Tony? Well, I don't mind. Come up with a topic, because I'm running.
I got nothing, man.
I don't have anything either. I run out of stuff to talk about. Anybody else got a topic they want to bring up?
Boy, the weather is fucking bad out here.
What's up with the weird weather now? You know, it's
the
supposed
wind.
to be warm after this.
It's global warming is what's
Global
causing it.
warming, yeah.
The wind has
Winter
really
is getting
picked up
later and
here.
later. Winter is getting later and later every year, I've noticed.
That's no. Because we had a far snowier November than we've ever had in the past this year.
Yeah,
And it ain't even winter until the 20th of December.
what I consider winter is any time from really Halloween through to mid-April, because I hate it when it's.
I was going to say October to April.
I hate it when it's cold, but up to even right now, January has been not as bad throughout the years. But I've noticed that March is getting colder throughout. Like the end of March used to be all right. Now I'm looking for mid-April to come.
Yeah.
To be honest, up until this past November, I was thinking that winter's moving on down the calendar myself. But then we had to go and break the record for the amount of snow we got in November, so winter's come back. And it's also been really flipping cold here a few times, which it isn't so bad right now, but the wind has really picked up, starting to blow fucking snow, and I'm still going to have to get up and try to take her ass to work at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Talking about the snow, you know, I told you we had 2 inches. My satellite TV, I had to go out and brush the goddamn satellite dish to get my TV to come on. What a
Yeah,
bummer.
well, hey, that's the way them things are.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
You
like
could
that.
string a cord out there and put a heater on it or something.
I think I saw a few years ago there's a cover you can buy that sort of keeps the snow off it, but will keep the line of sight open from the snow. You know? So anyway, I don't know if everybody else has that trouble. The only reason I have satellite TV is because cable doesn't come out this far.
Yes,
No,
other people have that problem.
I got DSL internet comes out here, right? And and literally the guy told me that I am the last person on the line. It doesn't go any further than my house. You know
what that means?
If the person across the street wants it, they're out of luck, right? But they can give me DSL, but they can't give me cable. It's weird.
You know, that DSL being at the end of that means that everybody else going up the line gets progressively better. So you're as bad as it's going to get.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, no, honestly, like when you guys are talking, what happens is you're mid sentence, it goes dead quiet. Then about 10 seconds later, I hear you talking or somebody else is talking. I never heard the rest of your conversation.
That happens to me a lot.
Yeah, it's weird, and I don't like it because the only good thing about Rhode Island was I had great internet. I had optic cable. It was brilliant. I mean, on that thing, when you downloaded something, it was downloaded before you took your finger off the button.
Was it brilliant enough for you to get the trailer, load up, and go back?
No, it wasn't that good. I don't know where. Now I can walk. I haven't done it yet, but I can walk into a gun store, buy a gun, fill out my 4473 and walk right out.
What, you haven't gotten your permit yet?
No. I don't know. With a permit, I have to check that. Anybody here from Indiana in the chat or anything?
What do you need a permit for in Indiana?
Concealed carry permit.
You don't need that to buy a gun.
No.
But in some states, if you have it, you don't have to do the other shit.
I mean, do you
still have to fill out the 4473, but they're not required to go and call Nix to give you your gun.
Okay, so what are you worried about? They're going to find out about you if they call Nix, Night Strike.
I'm not. I'll give my social security number if they want.
Well, then what's the big deal?
No, it's the wait time.
It's the wait time, Squib.
5 whole freaking minutes?
Well, actually, in Rhode Island.
No. Normally with Nix, a Nix call usually takes half an hour.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
No. I had it take a half an hour once only because the cell signal kept dropping because it was in a steel building. They were doing it. Your
times are different than my times, okay? So you get faster phone calls. Congratulations, you win the fucking internet.
And it's not about winning. It's about, I don't know what the hell you're complaining. Maybe you just haven't bought enough guns. That's the problem.
I have to wait.
I don't agree. I don't agree with the background bullshit. Don't get me wrong, but it ain't that big of a hassle.
Unless you buy at Walmart. Here, no more because.
Yeah, I don't ever want to buy a gun from Walmart.
I considered that, Tony. I considered that just to do it because, I don't like the whole Walmart with its company policy about you gotta be 21 to buy ammo or whatever, right? So even though I have to drive 3 hours, well, maybe 2.5 to get to a Walmart that sells guns around here, I thought about going in there and just getting a pump action 12 gauge because I've only got one shotgun. I don't count the Lamad as a shotgun, so I've only got one shotgun. I could use another one, and that'd be pretty much all they'd sell. And I thought about doing it just to do it, but
so
technically it's not a shotgun. It's a grape shot pistol.
Now I've never bought a weapon from Walmart because up in the Northeast they don't sell weapons in Walmart. So I've only just every time I go to Walmart now, I just walk around and look at the shotguns and the rifles they have on display because I find it fascinating.
Cool.
But what's the thing with buying? What do they do in Walmart to buy a gun? Then what's the problem?
Well,
okay. When you buy, you go first.
Have you ever bought a fucking gun at Walmart?
Yes.
Well, I have five of them in the past year.
Yeah.
And I have a 2-day wait. That starts after they do the background.
Tony, you went dead on. I had one of those dead spots. I didn't hear a word you said.
Yeah, that's your internet. That's not everybody else, Rick.
Everybody else hear me?
I heard
Yeah.
you.
I said that I have a 2-day wait that starts after they do the background check. So if it takes them 4 days, which it did the last time, to do the background check, then I've got to wait 2 additional days before I can go pick up the damn gun. And that's Walmart only.
I don't know why you would go to Walmart at all to buy. I only want to go and do it as a novelty. But my thing is I'm a little bit torn because I decided after they come up with that 21 buy ammo policy, I would just boycott their sporting goods department. I'm not going to boycott Walmart altogether. I buy crap at Walmart just like anybody else. I do have a better option up here, Meijer, which is much better than Walmart. But still, there's some things at Walmart a little bit cheaper or whatever. And the whole point is I decided, all right, how do I boycott them without boycotting them? And it's like I just won't buy from sporting goods. So if I buy a shotgun at Walmart, just for the experience of buying a gun at Walmart, I'm breaking my own boycott. So I'm a little bit torn. But I mean,
The reason
why wouldn't you just go to the gun store to buy a gun?
They didn't have what I wanted. I wanted them crickets, and Walmart was the only one in town that had them.
I tell you, our Walmart has a beautiful Henry rifle in 44 Magnum.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. I mean, I bought a 22 from them just a few months ago, and here's the crazy thing. I had to wait 2 hours for them to get the paperwork signed because apparently there wasn't a manager on call. They were on their lunch break, and then I had to have them escort me to the front of the store to the door so they can hand me the box and I can go to my car and put it away.
The Walmart Walk of Shame. Yes, welcome to the club.
Yeah. So, you know, the only thing that made it less time was because I had a concealed weapons permit. Okay?
So
that's the only thing that made it less time. Shortened the amount of time. But if I had to wait for a Nick's check, just tack on another half an hour to an hour right there.
Yeah, but
that's
what
my
does he
luck.
have to do with your time? So
Here's my Walmart experience. There's a Walmart a mile from my house, and I live just west of Baltimore City, so I guess you could kind of call it Central Maryland. If you go from my house east, you can't get a gun in Walmart. But if I drive west 15 minutes to the next town over, their Walmart sells guns. So I just thought that you might find that interesting and stupid.
That is interesting.
I bought a rifle at Bass Pro Shop once, and they do their 4473 on a computer, and they had a computer glitch, and they had to have 2 managers over there to fix the computer glitch, but we got it. Not a big deal. I thought it was kind of interesting because I've always done a paper one. It's the exact same thing. It's all digital. And then afterwards, the guy said, I either have to zip tie, no, he had to tape the box shut with like orange Bass Pro Shop tape, or escort me to the door. I should tape it, I don't know. He goes, it's not he was all dead. Don't worry about it, dude. No big deal.
Well, guys, I'm going to start winding this down because I'm not sure if G's doing his Minuteman University after me, and I think I believe the chat's starting to thin out too, so we're going to start winding it down.
You and or the cats are hungry, huh?
Yes, basically. Yeah, you got it, Tony. So I'm going to start with the going down the panel here asking for shout-outs and plugs. And we'll go with, the way it's lined up on mine, we'll go with Wheelchair Warrior.
All righty. Well, I appreciate the invite. Everybody, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to everybody that's on the panel and everybody that's in the chat. And, of course, tune into Rick's Life as I See It on Saturdays at 3 and Wednesdays at 7.
Thank you. Tony.
I got nothing, but any gun control is fucking unconstitutional.
Concur.
All right, Squib.
I'm glad to see you living the rough life over there, Rick, where your stomach dictates your schedule.
Yeah, I can get up and go to bed when I like. I don't have to worry about clocking in at work anymore.
Well, I appreciate the invite, and thanks for helping me get through part of this shift today. It's unusual for me to work a Saturday, but it's kind of nice to be able to jump on. So thank you very much.
If it makes you feel any better, Squib, I've scooped my damn sidewalk twice now.
That ain't work.
The hell it ain't.
All right, Night Strike. Any shout outs or plugs?
Cover your ears. Shut up, be infringed.
and guntube.org.
Yeah, check out guntube.org and nightstrike.com.
Have you got live streaming now?
I do, but it's not saving right now.
Okay. I mean, what I'm saying is like this chat here. Can I have 3 chat windows now?
You could if you wanted.
But I've never done it, but it can be done. I can broadcast on GunTube as well.
You could, but again, as I said, it's not saving. There's a bug in the system. I'm working on it. It's just taking time.
Okay. All right.
That just tells people to listen to the show when it's fucking live.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, YouTube records it for me anyway. So, all right. Thanks for joining us, Barbara, out there in the chat. Really appreciate it. Come back next week. Or come back on Wednesday. So, thanks. All right. Got Night Strike done. David, any shout-outs?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, Rick. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Rick's Life as I See It. Saturdays at 3, Wednesdays at 7. And if I'll go ahead and throw out another chat promotion. Where I met Barbara Carbone at, tomorrow at 2, there's a channel called Southside Stacker, and it's Southside's one word and Stacker is like stacking stuff. And he does a show at 2 o'clock called Civil Discord, which is basically just taking the news off the front page and having a conversation about it. And that's the chat that I met Barbara in. Really excellent conversation, all kinds of controversial topics, but everybody's respectful to each other. There's nobody getting cussed out or anything like that. You can disagree back and forth or agree with somebody back and forth, and it's pretty civil. So go check out that. It's Southside Stacker at 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay, great. Yeah, bye, Barbara. She's saying bye in the chat there. All right, that's it. Now I want to say goodbye to Barbara, Midnight, Rob D, New York Outcast, 2 Live Moves, 7 Wonders. Who else do we have here? Rich Fright, Andrew Faulkner, Gizzard Gary. Who else? Hell, I can't remember everybody that came in. That's just ones I can see in my chat. And I know we had other people. Then we had Patrick on Gun Channels with Rich White, Night Strike, and David Bowen on there too. So I want to say thank you to you all for being here. It's been great, and I will see you all next Saturday at 3 p.m. Or if you're interested, I'm here Wednesday at 7 p.m. And don't forget the question. I want the name of the rifle. Don't even remember. Daryl. I can't remember his last name. Out of The Walking Dead. See, season 8, episode 6.
And I just saw it, so go check out 7 Wonders' channel. He's got a giveaway
for G-Webs.
For G-Webs. So make sure you go check that out and help him get some money to G-Webs.
That sounds good for you. Before you can get over to
SHOT Show.
Yeah, when is that?
That is later this month. I think it's like this upcoming week.
Like the 19th or the 20th, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he can go because he's gone every year for about the last 8 or 9 years, hasn't he? So
last 10 years, I think.
Okay. Well, let's hope we can get him out there. If I had the cash, I would donate a bunch to him for you could at least fly out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If he wanted to, but I don't, unfortunately. But if I had it, I would. Anyway, okay, guys, I'm out. I'm going to sign off. I want to see. So thanks for everybody for being here, and see you all later.